Morning guys, just going to do a quick video on the difference between glide baits, jerk baits and crankbaits, because when it comes to this family of lures or these groups of lures, knowing the names and the different terms can often help you out in the way to fish them. So glide bait, jerk bait, crankbait, and we'll go into the differences now. So these bad boys, I mean, you get them in smaller sizes, various makes, whatever. These are glide baits, and as you know, you chuck them out and you need to use the rod tip to impart an action. You know, get these big old glides on them, you rip it, pause it, and it actually, the slack line helps the lure, you know, zigzag side to side underwater basically. I mean, they're lethal. I don't really use them for perch, other guys do, but when I'm out pike fishing, and these things are absolute killers regardless of, you know, you've got to go through different colors and sizes to see what they want. So yeah, basically glide baits, big lumps of plastic or wood, which you like hooking up on everything, you know, generally fish shaped things. So they glide, they actually glide nice and gently in the water, flipping on their sides when you pause them. Then the confusion comes between crankbaits and jerkbaits, because a lot of people think the previous lure is a jerkbait because you jerk it in, but it's not actually, it's a glide bait. Where people get confused between jerkbaits and crankbaits is because they both have plastic lips on them. So people naturally assume anything with a lip on it is a crankbait, but that's not true, and I'll just show you there. Husky jerk, massive bill. This is for getting this thing down to like 12 foot. And the way you fish a jerkbait, the main difference between a jerkbait and a crankbait are the body shape. I mean, there you can see jerkbaits more pencil shaped, you know, a bill on them. Crankbaits more like, say, light bulbs, or you know, they're a lot fatter and rounder in body shape. There's another one, for example. You know what I mean? You can see the difference there. Now the way to fish jerkbaits, you can reel them in on a straight retrieve, and they'll, I mean, when people troll these things in the ocean or in lakes for pike, you know, they'll catch fish, but that's not how they're designed to be fished. Designed to be cast out. You can crank the handle a few times, get it down to depth. And a reminder with crankbaits and jerkbaits, the thicker your line, the shallower it's going to run, regardless of what it says on the box, because thicker line creates more resistance on the water, so it takes longer for it to get down. You know, unless you're using fluorocarbon straight out, which sinks, it's not very buoyant, but you're still going to have to wait to count it down. And when you're fishing with a trace, these guys, which generally when I'm fishing a jerkbait this size, I'll use a trace because they're absolute pike magnets. The trace is going to turn it into a very slow sinking lure, but that's alright, man. It's not going to plummet down like a countdown. So the way to fish these boys, get them down to depth. Similar to a jerkbait, you know, you got to experiment with your cadence, which is how you're twitching it and reeling it in, and retrieving it, reeling up the slack, the speed, the gaps between it, just to see what the fish want. But these things have a amazing action, man. If you see them in clear water, they just dart off like an injured bait fish, and when you stop them, they shake a bit and they flip on their sides. And that is the way to fish jerkbaits, man. Like, that's why they're called jerkbaits, rip baits, twitch baits. So there you go, the name is there. It's a jerkbait, it's not a crankbait. It's not designed to be chucked out and just come in on a straight retrieve. But then again, neither are crankbaits. You know, the name can be a bit deceiving, but generally what people do, chuck them out, wind them in. You got to think about your presentation, as with any lure, man. Experiment. You can try the straight retrieve. If the fish are in the mood, they'll smash it, but most often these things work best when they bounce off of cover. I mean, I know a lot of guys get a bit nervous when their lures are bouncing off cover, because treble hooks equal hooking every single thing that's underwater. But fish like structure, and you got to get in there to get them. And the cool thing with crankbaits, you can swap these hooks out for single facing hooks and it won't affect the action of the lure at all. Whereas on suspending jerkbaits, you know, things like this, it really does kill the action. They seem to need, they need the treble hooks to balance them out so that they actually work right. Other tips for cranks, yeah, man. Stop, go, retrieve, you know, crank it in, stop, count to 3. You know, see what the fish want, man. And they come in millions of colors and sizes, and, you know, try and match the hatch. You know, if the water's generally clear, I'll go for natural colors, you know, like silvers, black, grays. These little bait ball things are pretty cool. But I'll also chuck, really enough, in clear water, just a black crankbait, man. I've had loads of fish on here. Various sizes, whatever species. Yeah, man, that's, variety is the key, man, the spice of life. So, man, I'll be doing a few of these videos. If you dig them, let me know. If there's any lures or anything, or retrieves, or whatever you want me to talk about, just let me know, man. Leave a comment or something. And yeah, tight lines, guys, and just keep fishing, because there's no substitute for time on the water, and fish hard, man. Later.